Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. I'd like to welcome my special guest, Terrane Hicks. He's an occultist, and you may have seen him before on YouTube. His channel is The Occult College. We have known each other for sorry, my YouTube was open. We have known each other for years. How many years? I don't even.
I don't know. Over
Um,
10?
a long, long time. So I'll call him one of my day ones. Like we known each other since we both got on the internet, or at least
Yeah.
me. I don't know. So he is the guy that owns the Oud of Gira and all these wonderful ouds that you guys love. He also offers and provides spiritual work, spells, etc. And he is very well educated and anything occult,
Mm.
especially Pomba Gira. And I'm going to let him take over and just tell y'all a little bit about what we're going to be talking about in Pomba Gira
All right.
and let him go into it. So y'all welcome
All right.
Terrane. Say hello to him.
Hey, y'all. So I'm going to get right into it. What we're going to talk about is Pomba Gira, right? She is a queen of seduction, passion, sexuality, money manifestation, and her skill is really intense when it comes to attracting a man with money, keeping that man, um, and having that man do what you need him to do. So, as an occultist, I do a lot of different spell workings, right? But my highest, um, most proficient spells are from Pomba Gira. And knowing your channel and the members that follow you and what you all are into, this is all up in Pomba Gira's alley. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Pomba Gira. She's a secret. Um, Ashera has a lot of her qualities. And me and her have been talking back and forth about that for a long time. So yeah, let's dive deep. Let's go. Let's dive into this.
Okay. So there's a lot of people that have been asking me, do I still do spell work? Do I still do readings? Do I still do one-on-ones? And I don't do that anymore, but Terrane does offer like rituals, spell work, seduction spells, money spells, love spells. And I've been knowing him for, like I said, many, many, many years. So I can vouch for him. Why don't you tell him? I mean, why don't you tell them about what you do so that they know a little bit more?
Well, pretty much, when it comes to Pomba Gira work, I have a lot of clients that they need to either get their husband back or they need the right male provider, that person that is already rich. They need to
Hmm.
attract that person. And they resort to, and I'm going to say the word, black magic, right? And when I say black magic, I'm not talking about evil. I'm talking about spiritual workings that are very, very powerful and very, very fast, right?
Okay.
A lot of successful women are using some form of black magic. A lot of successful women are they're working with a sorcerer,
Hmm.
right? And that's what I do. I'm the sorcerer. I'm the sorcerer on call. I've had many celebrity clients. I've had a lot of high end clients, and I keep my clients happy, especially in the area of love, right?
Okay.
Love and money. That's my specialty.
Okay. So can you give us an example? You don't have to use any names, but like what have you done that you're most proud of as far as your spell work?
So I have a client that is a princess. from Dubai,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been working with her for like 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much I keep the money in her pocket, right? Through her frequently getting spell work from me. So every month she renews her spell working to keep the power, to keep the control, keep the attraction, right? You know, I'm like her on call sorcerer. So that's my most prominent client. Then I have another client she's an oil tycoon. She's from Nigeria, and I keep her protected. You know, so I do protection work for some people that have a lot of money. They also need protection. And when I say protection, spiritual protection is a must when you get to a certain level. So I'm the person for that, right?
Okay. Okay.
There's a lot of people that they have a lot of money and they need to reverse their aging or keep the youth, and
Mhm.
there is magic for that. And a lot of people, they do their own magic, but sometimes you want to hire a professional that makes sure that certain magic does not come back on you. So you hire someone like me to get the magic done without worrying about consequences and stuff like that.
Yes, because a lot of people do have that issue because you know, they don't want to do any of the work, or and some countries don't allow people to practice certain things, so they do have to go outside to hire someone.
Right.
When I used to do spell work, I got a lot of people from different cultures and countries coming to me as well. So let's talk about Pomba Gira. What can someone do that wants to be more like Pomba Gira? And Pomba Gira is like you explained earlier, like for beauty, love, passion, money. What can they do to be more like this Brazilian goddess?
I like that question. So to get into the frequency of embodying Pomba Gira, the first thing is her colors, right? Red and black. Which very, very aggressive colors, right? They're known as war colors, right? That is the color of the prostitute, the sacred whore, the
Mhm.
very, very powerful businesswoman. It's the color red and black. The way that red and black appeals to the psyche, uh, the psyche registers that color as powerful person,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Um, so the first thing is dressing in red and black.
Well, I always like red. Like red is one of my signature colors that I wear more in the winter and in the fall. But um, I definitely feel more powerful whenever I wear red. I always
Mhm.
tell women to wear red dress if they want to get attention, if they want to get noticed, if they
Mhm.
want to make someone cross the room, wear that red.
It's
Or red.
also, yeah, red and black is also the number one sexual color, right? For sexual attraction, for the highest degree of sexual attraction, is the color red and black.
Mhm.
So frequently wearing red and black does pull you into the energetic of Pomba Gira, magically, spiritually. Um, yeah.
Mhm. So, what about men? Can they use Pomba Gira as well? Like, how do men work with Pomba Gira, or how do they implement the attributes?
For men, we have the energy called Eshu, right? So the men work with Eshus, right? And
Mhm.
there's several of them. The females work with Pomba Giras, right?
Okay.
For the men as well, the color red and black, right? But men can work with Pomba Gira solely as well, right? But men want to get more into the energy of Eshu.
Okay. And what type of energy does SU have, and how does it relate to the Pomba Gira?
Very good question. So Eshu is the male counterpart of this empowered woman. So Eshu is the protector of this female, right? This female is an empowered woman, but she has a partner. You know, sometimes a mate, sometimes a husband, sometimes just a business partner, and that's Eshu. That's the protector. That's the one. That's the masculine force that is seeking to it that Pomba Gira can do what she needs to do, right? And this is a very well dressed man, gentleman, very clean, but very dangerous man. Has sexual seduction, but very in control of himself. So that's the archetype of Eshu.
Okay. So I was reading some of the comments and they say they love your oils, your oudhs. And do you ship out of America? Right. You ship out of the country?
Well, one of the things about these oils is that if y'all love the intoxication that comes from them, and they're charged with Pomba Gira, you know, so the formula is this Brazilian, this Afro-Brazilian magic, right? There's energies on the oils. That's why y'all love them so much. That, you know, there's a magic that goes with it. So we're talking about the actual magic, the craft that goes with why the oils are so intoxicating.
Yeah, because when you sent these to me and I smelled them, there was one that was like, wow. I know I had to name it Seduction. And I think it was, let me make sure. Yeah, this one. And I named this one Seduction. And it's like nothing that I've ever smelled before, but it just gets that attention. As soon as you walk in the room, it's very grabbing. And so I would say like, this is very like energetic with the Pomba Gira energy. I can feel that. Because like it was like, yeah, this is the one.
You can feel the magic on it. So, you know, Pomba Gira is, you know, she's a secret, right? And her art is in a secret society, right? A spiritual system called Kimbanda. And in that society, we have sacred rituals where the priests, I'm a Kimbanda priest, we have powers to charge our products, right? And one of the beauties of working with Pomba Gira is learning seduction secrets, right?
Give us one.
A seduction secret? Well,
I mean, we came here. Everybody's
okay. All right, I got you right now, right? The rose. You know, Pomba Gira she's a representative of the rose, and the rose has seduction powers in it, right? So we do certain spells and rituals to the rose to wake the rose up so that the rose can use its magical powers to enchant items like oils, right? So I give you a secret. I give you all a secret. If you all can go to a rose garden, walk in the rose garden, and just immerse yourself in the roses. The roses will mix with your pheromones, and I promise you, when you step out of that rose garden, every man that is in the vicinity is going to be attracted to you. I want y'all to try that.
You know what? I have a secret to tell you, but you probably already know. I have a rose garden in the front and the back of my house that I planted.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You put my rose. You naturally channel Pomba Gira, and we spoke about that.
Yeah, and I did a little research because we did a video, or I did a video a while back about Pomba Gira, but I went into more extensive research from what you sent me.
Right.
Let me put this in. And one of the numbers that's associated with her is also the number 7.
Yeah.
Which is another name, SHERA 7 on my other channel.
Yeah.
So that's interesting as well.
Yes, yes. Seven is the number one number for Pomba Gira. It's the secret, right? Um, the sum of 3 and 4 is 7, and
Mm-hmm.
there's magical spiritual secrets within numbers, numericals. So
Mm-hmm.
another way to channel Pomba Gira or work with her more is to do things in sevens. Yeah,
That's a good.
7 candles, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And what about like if a woman wants to exude her energy, what are the tools or the accessories that she might need? Because a lot of women are like, they want to represent and carry some of that energy with them when they are going out. So what type of accessories or things that are associated with, the seduction of Pomba Gira can these ladies implement when they're out or, getting ready to go out?
Some of that is a secret, but I can give away some stuff, right? So
Give away.
one red wine. That's an accessory to Pomba Gira, right?
Red
Drink
wine.
red wine. Drink half a glass of red wine,
Yeah.
and automatically your seduction goes up.
Don't
It,
drink from the bottle.
right?
Unless.
That wine is an accessory in seduction magic,
Mhm.
right? Another accessory is pheromone oil. Pheromone, pheromone oil. Pheromone oil mixes really good with oud,
Yes,
right?
I that.
Right. Another accessory for those of you who may smoke tobacco, cigars, right? When cigars is a good way to um channel or attract certain spirits of seduction, right? Um,
Mhm.
what's another accessory? Sometimes, believe it or not, um, coffee.
I
Coffee
just
wakes up.
ordered a coffee.
Coffee wakes up seduction.
Yeah, I
Co-
had a
co-
coffee and
eh,
this, and I was like, let me bring the water and the wine because I don't want to be up all night. But I that's so crazy because you keep naming stuff that I do.
so coffee, red wine, cigars are a part of seductive magical art,
Hmm.
not just of Pomba Gira, but just worldwide, psychologically.
So let me ask you a question. Some people in the comments are saying, "Is Irzuli is she very similar to an Irzuli?"
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in the way of Urzuli is a patron goddess of lingerie, actually, right? The energetic of Urzuli actually created lingerie, right?
Hmm.
But Pomba Gira is also very consistent in the consistency to of a woman to. It's mandatory for a certain level of women to wear lingerie, right? The
Hmm.
aesthetic is part of magical art, right? And that's another secret, right? Um, Lingerie as undergarments is not just a thing for the looks,
I
but
used
there's an energetic,
I did that in my 20s when I could.
there's energy behind your undergarments, right?
Hmm.
Also to sleep in lingerie.
Hmm.
Pomba Gira, Erzuli. Very, very similar.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it also brings in your feminine energy, which is your dark feminine energy, especially if you're using reds and blacks in your lingerie.
Yes. Red
And
and black lingerie. Yep.
if you ask any man their favorite color of lingerie, they're gonna say red or black.
We're gonna say red or black,
Yes.
right?
And no matter who you ask, unless they're weird, they're gonna say
Mhm.
red or black.
Yep.
So I do feel like those colors are very magical within themselves. And I think more women should, like, especially in these like months that are coming up, the darker months, to like, transition from, the pinks and the, lighter colors and get into their more powerful, seductive era, cuffing season, and get into their red and blacks.
Yeah,
And
there's certain seduction techniques that are designed to make any man fall, right? And every man will take the bait. And this was discovered thousands of years ago when women were carrying out assassinations.
Mhm.
So the Pomba Gira thing has a lot to do with female assassins and something that we call sex espionage, right?
Mhm.
And the consistent color for the woman that absolutely has to attract the man for work, for assassination, to attract the king is red and black. That's another secret right there. We giving out some secrets today.
Mhm. I think even that book by Robert Greene, The Art of Seduction, isn't the cover like red and black?
Right. The cover's red and black.
Mhm.
Right.
And I feel like let's ask the viewers, like, do y'all agree with the red and black? Is it Has it worked for y'all unknowingly? Now that you know, or maybe you already do, but how do y'all feel like it's working magically or attracting? Someone says crossroad related. Okay, yeah, talk about the crossroads.
Okay, so we have a thing with Pomba Gira. There is what people would consider an obsession with the crossroad. And the crossroad is pretty much there's many Pomba Giras, right? There's hundreds. And a lot of notorious women for either they were really good businesswomen, they were queens, some of them were prostitutes. When they died, they became venerated. And when they became venerated, because they live very infamous lifestyles, they have the ability in their death to continue to come back and forth to the realm of the dead and back here to assist us,
Mhm.
right? Those are the Pomba Giras. And the ability to come back and forth from the land of the dead to the living, that's associated with the crossroad, the crux, the ability to go to and fro. So that's one of the secrets of the crossroads, and that's a big deal in working with Pomba Gira.
Mhm. So, what type of rituals or spells do you do in particular to help, like, let's say a woman wants to like get a provider, or just someone who's going to take care of her, like, what type of spells? You don't have to give us your secrets on that, but what type of spells do you offer for those people that are seeking a little extra help?
So the first thing is like there's customized spells. So for example, you want to get a provider. Me as a priest, my job is to petition the right Pomba Gira, right? Because now there's a Pomba Gira for business, right? And that Pomba Gira, I would do the offerings to get her to attract you to provider, right? So there's Pomba Giras for business, there's Pomba Giras for protection, there's Pomba Giras for attacking, right? There's sometimes I can petition several Pomba Giras that are to be petitioned for business to work on your behalf to attract you the right husband or provider, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I like about Pomba Gira is the magical workings, the spirituality can be extremely mundane and tangible. Like, I want a provider now, right? I want money now. I want to attract the right husband today, right? And that magic is very fast, but it takes an expert right? To petition the right energies safely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do they know it's working? Like, what? I know a lot of people ask you this. How do I know
Mhm.
it's working? How do they have to just wait? Is it fast, or will they just have to be patient and see what happens? Like, what are some signs that it's working if they just want to ask?
Speed all depends, right? Most authentic black magic is fast, right? Now, one of the signs that your spiritual working is dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it working. You should have a dream either that night or within 3 days. You should have a dream of something synonymous to what you want, right? You might see a woman in a red dress and things like that. That's how you know, okay, this is a sign, this is a supernatural sign that this is working, right? Another sign is, say, for instance, you want to attract a provider, and you go to work the next day, and then every guy is it's noticeable that they're attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the provider, but now you noticed that your attraction level went up, right? And now you got to allow time for that working to work. So there's signs that are right away. There's signs that are right away.
And I think that's where I come in, because like if someone got a working and to attract a provider, um, that's where I come in to tell you where to go, when to go, and how to look when you get there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Exactly.
I feel like, with your rituals and spell work and my information and these oods and mix them with some pheromones, um, it should be even faster.
It is going to get intense
Hmm.
because magic is at play.
And just so the people know,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't like to tell people stuff, and it's not none of their business, but like we've been doing this for a long time. We're
Right.
not broke. We're not broke. We don't need your money.
We rich.
Yeah, we trying to help y'all get to the next level. Like seriously.
I think we both share a passion in getting others rich
Hmm.
the right way.
That's because we Pisces.
Yeah. You know, Pisces, we do this. We do this. You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, I think I'm happy that you made that point. Um, we've gotten to a certain level, and sharing the knowledge so that y'all are not doing things like selling your souls or your integrity, and there's a better way,
Hmm.
right? But everybody that I know that's successful is working with a spiritual worker. Everyone. Hmm.
Hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people equate like people that are spiritual or spiritual workers with not having things, but like we've been in the game for a while, and like I think we'd have made it.
Yeah, yeah, we yeah, we made it.
We made it.
Yeah,
Remember when we first started out and we were just like talking online and laughing and doing silly stuff and like doing our readings and all group stuff, and now years and
and
years later.
we were pretty successful years ago though too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we were, but now even more on a grand scale,
That's right. So
big
I
scale.
think so. Yeah, now that we have teamed up, it's going to get intense.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing now.
Hmm.
Wow.
And you want people that have money and money energy to be over your spiritual work because they have that frequency of already attracting, the finer things in life. So you want that energy when um, someone's doing your work.
the spiritualist and the coach have to be rich already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I see a lot of that going around where you got people that don't make money teaching how to make money
Mm-hmm.
spiritually or doing spiritual workings and they can't pay their rent. Nah, that's not how this works.
No, because like you can't teach someone how to do something if you can't do it, or if you're not.
Right, right. You know, I knew that I made it when uh, a couple millionaires and 2 billionaires are my clients now. I knew
Wow.
that because now they made the money, but they need me to keep their money
Mm-hmm.
and to protect it and to keep it coming in.
And you know what? That's so true, because I know when people reach a certain level, like you were saying earlier, people definitely want to protect themselves spiritually, magically, and in every way, financially. And so, like, the more, you know how they say more money, more problems? It's not really problems. It's just more uh, dimensions and areas to cover. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Right,
the higher you get up, it's like the higher dimensionally you have to protect yourself.
right. So,
Why
you know,
see a lot of people going
yeah,
cuckoo the richer they get, and it's like they just call them eccentrics, but they just don't have the proper protection.
right. The same way you need a lawyer, you need a real sorcerer that has your best interest to do their job to keep you protected and to
Hmm.
keep the money flowing, to keep the haters off of you, to keep the attraction up. And that's what a Kimbanda priest is good for.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, let me see what some people are asking. Okay, some people are, you know, a lot of people are confused and they're trying to like pair biblical deities with Eshu or the Kimbanda. So, can you clear that up? Biblical, like devils, Lucifers, and all this kind of stuff. I don't
Okay.
even think
So
Christian.
so in Kimbanda, right, in Afro-Brazilian science, which goes back to Angola, we don't have a concept for devil, right? We don't have a devil to worship.
Hmm.
What you had was uh, the Christian missionaries that demonized certain cultures, and they made certain spiritual figures evil by projecting a certain imagery. But in this practice, we don't have a devil. We don't have a concept for a devil. We have male spirits that are here to assist you with life, and female spirits that are here to assist you with life to make things that are hard in life much easier and to keep you
Hmm.
protected. So I hope that clears it up.
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize where the information is coming from. Someone
Yeah,
that's deterring you from your own like spirituality to convert to theirs is going to do anything
right.
and villainize anybody. But you know, it's okay as long, you know, if you're smart enough to see through all of that and claim what you want to claim
Mhm.
anyway, you know,
Yep,
that makes you even more powerful when you
right.
could see through the
You,
okey doke.
for a long time, this what we're talking about, this thing with Pomba Gira was a secret for a long time. Only within the last 15 years have it been more accessible to Americans.
Hmm.
But queens, kings from Brazil have been working with Pomba Gira,
Hmm.
in secret.
Oh, really?
Hmm. Yep.
So what do you think made them want to work with Pomba Gira out of all the other, you know, deities they could work with? I'm gonna
It's the
hold on one second. I'm gonna get this glare. One second.
all right.
Keep talking.
So this Pomba Gira and Eshu are the most swagged out figures in all of spirituality. And
Okay.
anyone working with Pomba Gira and Eshu is going to look a certain way. They're all going to be clean. They're all going to be neat. They're all going to be attractive, right? And that draws people to the culture, the sorcery, is that the representatives of it look really good. They're successful, and you can tell not to play with them,
Right.
right?
So
There's an energy resonating, very powerful person.
can you give us an example of who you think might be working with them? Like maybe you don't work with them, you don't know for sure, but like some signs that you could see that maybe someone could be working with them.
Oh Lord.
You don't have to say it if it's a secret, but
Okay.
someone just wanted to recognize another person. Like, okay, you doing
Okay. I can give you someone from the past.
okay,
Marilyn Monroe,
okay,
right? You know, at one point she like was in a relationship with the president, right?
hmm
Wherever she went, she had money. She was never down, right? She was worshipped her entire life. Just her entire life, people were just enamored with her. That's a perfect example,
and
right?
still today.
Still today, that so anyone like Marilyn Monroe, that's like a Pomba Gira. In today's society, I don't know. It's hard to call it, but Marilyn Monroe, maybe Kim Kardashian.
hmm
You know, I would say Kim Kardashian. Just Pomba Gira is it stands out because of the attraction, the look, and the success,
hmm
right? You would never catch a person who embodies Pomba Gira. You won't see them have a bad moment.
Right.
That's the thing that stands out. You can't see them lose,
hmm
and that's what attracts people to this tradition.
So let me ask you a question. So what if there are some people that don't like this energy, especially in women, and they don't agree with it and they call it something negative? What do you think about that? Or what do you think people should do about that? Or what do you think the answer is towards that? Like, why do people have such a strong dislike for strong women who own their sexuality and own, their power, and they said what they said?
Those people are squares.
He
I,
said,
you know, some of us are born to be at a certain pedigree, a certain level, and some of us are going to be mediocre and average. There's nothing that we can do about a mediocre person. You know, this is a high class practice, a high class art, and everyone's not meant to understand perfection. You know, um, there's, we're talking about magic, sorcery, art of seduction. These are art forms,
mhm.
right?
It's art form because I'm gonna just step in for 1 second. It is an art form because there are so much detail that you have to put into certain things
Mhm.
to get a certain result or reaction. And
Right,
so it literally is an art form because people don't know how to do it
right,
naturally. So
right.
it's literally an art form.
It is work to look good, to be successful, and to stay consistent in that imagery and that lifestyle. It's work, right? So anyone outside of that organically is going to hate your guts because they're not going to exude that, and they're going to be wondering the entire time, how are they doing this?
So what would this type of person look like?
The haters. Well, they're probably going to be
Haters,
trolling. Hmm?
for SU haters and Pomba Gira haters, like for the people that exude that energy, what would their haters look like?
One, they're going to be unattractive, right? They're going to physically look unattractive. You know what I'm saying? Two, they're going to that they're going to be broke. They're going to be broke. This is a rich man and woman's game. This is a rich man and woman's spirituality. So they're going to be broke. They're going to look physically unappealing. You know. I would teach this back in the day. I would tell people that looks matter.
I tell them
Right?
that every
Looks matter. Looks matter.
we do.
Looks can denote your level of success.
So if looks matter and somebody's not attractive, do you do spells for that too, to help them become their best version of themselves as far as how they look?
Yes, we have that. There is black magic for that. There is sorcery for that.
Okay, let me stop you real quick. Someone's saying the oils are unavailable. The ouds are unavailable on your shop. I did link it.
I'll put them back up after the video.
Okay.
I took them down for a minute.
He wants you to wait till after the video.
I want you to wait.
I guess there's a reason he wants y'all to wait, so wait and find out.
Right.
So you do spells to help people become more attractive as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
what is pretty attractive? Can you get even more attractive with spell work?
yes, but there may be consequences. So this is why it's good to consult me. Right? I might do a reading. I might let you know, okay, yeah, you need a little bit more attraction. Or I might let you know you don't need too much, just a little titch. Right? Because seduction can create fatal attractions.
That's what I was going to ask. If that already look good,
right?
You don't want people becoming super obsessed with them if they can't have them.
Right. So someone like me would know what you need. A historical fact about the Pomba Giras that were alive. A large amount of them were so attractive when they were living that they were killed by their lovers because they were that attractive. And when they come back to bestow wisdom on us, they teach us how to avoid what they went through. Right. So, there's a thin line, and someone like me would know, right? Because the Pomba Giras or the Eshu would speak through me and let me know if this person is putting too much into the attraction. They may need to pull back.
Right. So someone's asking, why is it called black magic?
That's a good question. So in Brazil, right, everything outside of Christianity was already labeled and considered black magic. If it was not Christianity, it was automatically put into that category.
Oh, really?
The Brazilians got tired of the demonizing of their indigenous practices, so they decided to embrace the title and upgrade the term black magic. So you have a lot of that, and that's a historical fact about Brazilian spirituality. So not just magic, but all of spirituality. If it was not Christian, it was automatically put into that.
Okay. So it's just a term that people used to describe anyone that wasn't Christian in whatever they were working with.
It's that, and also spirituality that has the components of protection in it is put into that category. So meaning you do something bad to me, within my spirituality, I may have the authority to do something bad to you without suffering the consequences because I'm allowed to protect myself. That is thrown into the category of black magic as well.
So a lot of people are afraid to deal with anything like black magic because they fear the consequences, but like you said, if you get someone else to do it for you, they don't suffer the consequences? Or can you go into that a little bit more if
You
people
when
are
you
curious?
when you get a worker like myself who regularly feeds these spirits, who is the liaison between you and these energies, whatever you pay me to do, I'm taking it on. If you believe in karma, I'm taking on the karma. If you believe that it's going to come back to you somehow, you don't have to worry about that. If I have to, maybe perform a animal sacrifice, right? I'm gonna have to sacrifice a rooster, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to get your hands so-called dirty. That's what you hire a worker for. Some people just want to get the work done and they want to live their lives. Someone like myself, this is all I do. I'm more equipped to work with spirits than your average person.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say to people that are, they're wanting this seduction? Like, do you like also do one-on-ones to help them get to that level? Because like they can't be walking around looking like who did it and why, and then have you do spell work and they think it's supposed to work with them in, sweatpants and hair.
Yeah, yeah. So I do teach seduction science, right?
Mhm.
From this practice, one-on-ones, right? Depending on what you need, you might need to meet me in person. I might need to do a whole activation for you, right? So it all depends. But yes, absolutely. My job is to get you to a certain level where you are unstoppable, right? You're unstoppable. You are extremely attractive. You're successful. You're powerful.
And could you do this over Zoom if somebody can't, get to where you are? Do you
We
offer?
have we have amulets that we can send out. Baths, amulets. Sometimes you need an enchanted items, right? So, with the baths, you might take one of my baths for 30 days, right? And the baths are, after you bathe in it, like it'll automatically upgrade your youth immediately. It'll transform you,
Oh, okay. So
mm,
they need to get them baths. So,
right?
and also, you don't do this alone. You want to tell them about your coven, or is that a secret?
Okay, yeah, we could talk about the Pomba Gira coven. So we have a coven called the Pomba Gira coven, and we're a secret society. Um, our coven is about close to 20 years old, and we have a lot of fellow sorceresses that when I need work done, I got at least 20 people putting energy into it. And that has made my not only my coven very famous, but my rituals very famous because they work because of the power of numbers. And the coven members that I've trained, this is all they do. All we do is magic, right?
And they all look very successful and very seductive and very well put together, I must say. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. So, because people always wonder what goes on behind the scenes, they don't have to know all the details, but they need to know a little something to like, have a little bit of more confidence in what is actually going on. Because I know I would like, I need to know y'all broke over there, y'all looking good over there,
Yeah,
y'all looking up. I need to know what kind of energy is going into my stuff, and I can assure y'all, it's all energy that I would definitely approve of.
yeah. Everyone looks good. Everyone is rich, right? So the coven is a secret society. It's very, very, very hard to get into the coven. One, you gotta look good. Two, you gotta have money. Three, you have to be willing to train and put in spiritual work. You got to learn incantations. It's a lot of things to memorize and to learn and stuff like that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Well, I just like people to know, you know, just in case they were wondering, because I would wonder that.
right.
I'm answering questions I would be asking. So,
Mhm.
Well, what do you think about like when people want to like go against this type of magic or energy with like, Bible thumping or shaming or whatever? Like how do you deal with that as a coven or as a like just as a person? Like because I know a
Okay.
lot of people are afraid to embrace certain things because of what other people think or will say. So can you help them with maybe a little bit of something on how to, think or how to react?
I think I seen a video of yours not too long ago, and you were encouraging people to research and study, right? So this, what I'm talking about, you can research it, right? It comes from Brazil, and before Brazil, it came from Angola, and that's the Congo. And in that region, there was indigenous spiritual practice for the people that lived in that area, and they worked with certain energies and deities to be successful in life. And things like what we're talking about, like magic, spirituality, uh, predate Christianity.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't know that there are people that they're doing this stuff behind closed doors, and they're telling everybody not to do it so that they can keep the power,
Hmm.
right? So it's like, if I have power, why would I share that with you? I'm gonna tell you that it's evil, so
They
that
gave.
they're gatekeeping. So, research and look into that. There's a reason that there's a gap between the successful and the non-successful. And a large part of that gap has to do with how are you approaching spirituality?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
because a lot of the religion is very limiting
yeah,
on how you can think, how you can vibrate, how
right.
you can, you know,
You know what
dress.
I'm saying? Um,
So
mhm.
you're not allowed to shine or you're not allowed to attract as much
the
in some
the the concept of the empowered woman scares the hell out of the patriarchal society.
Mhm.
And way before we got to this patriarchal society that we're in now, women were running the world. And the world was much better off when women were empowered, right? So
Mhm.
we're going back to that, by the way. We're going back to that. The divine feminine is rising, and it's pissing a lot of men off, and especially the dusties, and
Them Dusties be mad.
and then the Bible thumpers, it's pissing people off, but you can't do anything about it.
Yes, I think a lot of people don't realize, get on the right team.
Exactly. Get
The
on the
wrong
right team.
team will have you broke and mad at everybody. Just think about
Right. Right.
it. The wrong team will have you broke and mad at everybody.
Yeah.
We can't have that. People shouldn't be walking around mad and broke.
Right. Brokenness creates anger.
Hmm.
You- That's something I want. It's a very brokenness has a very pessimistic energetic.
Hmm.
So watch those dusties. Watch them. Get away from them. Right. If you're broke, I can't even get on the phone with you because I can't. It's contagious. It can be contagious. Right. And if you're gonna follow the energetic of Pomba Gira and Eshu, you got to cut the broke people off. Love them from a distance. Hmm.
You can give to charity, but you can't be vibrating on that same frequency.
Exactly.
Hmm. That's why, like, when people start making a lot of money, they start donating more because they can't really be a part of that energy anymore, but they can, they can donate to it, but
Yeah,
they cannot be around it or be a part of it
yeah.
because.
Send a check and get away
Mm-hmm.
and stay successful, but do not get too close because that's an energetic.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people ask me, well, what about people saying you've changed, or you know, you're doing this and you're doing that, and they're shaming you. Like,
We
what do you
we
tell people? We can't hang out no more? How do you tell them that?
change is the only constant thing in the universe. That's one. Um, Stagnancy is the worst thing ever. So, if you are not constantly changing, that's bad. So yes, I've changed. Thank you. That's a compliment, right? As I change, as my tax bracket change, my lifestyle has to change, right? I don't want to go to work and work a 9 to 5, right? I'm making more money than any and everybody that's working in corporate, right? But if I don't continue to change and progress, I will go back down and I have to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I've changed. Are you going to change with me? You're not going to change with me? Bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then now if you tell me that, now I might have to get some Pomba Gira protection.
Mm-hmm.
Because now when you say that, now I know that there's an energy of hate within you, and that hate is very venomous.
Right.
Right? It will cause you to do something malicious to me. Now I got to get my magical protection on.
Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that it's a way of thinking too. Like you got to evolve your thinking, your spirituality, and your surroundings, your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I think like working with Pomba Gira and having that energy, especially for women, is very important to get them to the next level, because a lot of women say that they're stuck, they can't move forward, they can't stop thinking about a dusty.
Mm.
Um, they can't imagine themselves in a position where
Oh.
they're being provided for.
A-
So how can Pomba Gira help those type of women get that mentality and
Any,
themselves there?
whew, any, the minute if you have a dusty around you, the minute you petition Pomba Gira, the minute Pomba Gira work is done on you, that Pomba Gira is going to get that person away from you immediately.
So you want to
That's
get rid
their job. Yeah, you want to get rid of the dusty that just keep clinging on? Work with Pomba Gira, because that's another thing about the crossroads, right? It's
of.
I'm at a crossroads in my life, right? And for a lot of people, I got to get this dusty out of my life. I've been married to you for too long. You've been broke since I've been married. I got to cut this. And that's what she does.
Mm-hmm.
She cuts that cord, and then now you're free.
Mm-hmm.
You need a spirit to assist with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And so someone's saying, how do they work with Pomba Gira?
There's many ways. One, you may want to consult a Kimbanda priest, and that's someone like myself, right? Because some people need to initiate. Some people can just do self work, but it's always good to get someone who's initiated and trained in this craft to start working with her. It's a lot of people that work with her on their own, but it's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing, because this is a secret, and someone who have been bestowed with the secrets through initiation can properly guide you to how to work with her. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say contact me, hit me up, right? Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of self-practice things that you can do to get you working with her immediately.
You offer consultations to teach that?
Yeah, we do readings,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because some people may have a Pomba Gira that walks with them already, and we during the reading we can pick that up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is called a Kimbanda reading, or
Mm-hmm.
a Pomba Gira Eshu reading, and we will know what your path is for Pomba Gira.
Someone asks if it's an herb. They must have just got here. Whitney, it's not an herb. Okay, I'm gonna let Terrane explain Pomba Gira one more time for the people that are just getting in here?
Pomba Gira is a legion of female uh, goddesses, deities, right? All of them were humans that were alive before, and they lived very, very notorious lifestyles. Like they were like Ashera, like in more ancient times, if you died, you would probably be a Pomba Gira, and people would venerate you, and you would be able to come back and assist people. Now, the Pomba Giras were a lot of them were very attractive, very seductive, very successful, and they were very, very popular. And they got this, they got into like a hall of fame, right? To be conjured back here because they were that successful and powerful in life, right?
Mm.
So
So it's
those
like
are
energy that helps women become more seductive, more successful, protected, and know her value and her worth.
yeah. Now all of these Pomba Giras went through some really, really, really hard times in life. And because, however they approach life, they push through, they're able to now, because of their wisdom, keep us from experiencing a lot of the things that they experience, like
Mm-hmm.
fatal attractions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And yes, or like living with a dusty for too long.
Right. And they have, I would say, they have the wisdom for how to deal with haters because they
Mm-hmm.
know what it feels like. They know what it feels like to be the most attractive person in your vicinity. They know what it feels like. They know what it feels like to get all that hate. So now they have magic to knock all that hate out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I think it develops over time because they don't have a choice. They got it.
Right, right. So that's something that we call embodying Pomba Gira. Like Ashera, you embodying that energy. And that's what you want to get into this for. You want to learn how to walk with that.
And a lot of women ask how to build their self-esteem and self-confidence. I think this definitely will help them. Like
Oh yeah.
that
Oh yeah.
mentality.
Oh yeah. You get the right Pomba Gira spell done, you just feel really good, real empowered, right? So that, everybody who's looking for that, this is where you want to, this is the school that you want to be in. Pomba Gira school.
Mm-hmm. So do y'all do the issue training or teaching as well for men?
Yeah, we train S shoes as well, right? It's a lot harder to become an S shoe because the 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 number one thing with an S shoe is a gentleman. They must be clean. They must be protective of women. They can never abuse women. But most importantly, although they must be very seductive, that they have to have sexual control. So yeah, we train issues, but um, issues come very few and far in between because most men do not have sexual control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very serious thing to become an issue because when you become an issue, then now you have Pomba Giras that work for you that you train, and you got to know how to deal with them properly, right? And again, that's never to abuse women, never to put your hands on women, and to always protect women.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, if someone were to be like in your vicinity and disrespecting a woman or looking like they're going to like put their hands on someone, what would an SU like do in that situation?
I don't want to speak on violence, but I may have to put my hands on them. And if
Okay.
I cannot, I must employ the black magic
Mm-hmm.
to deal with them. I am obligated to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That is an obligation as a priest.
Mm-hmm. So for the guys out there who feel like, oh, that's simp moves or whatever, what would you say to those types of dusty dudes?
That they're simps. It's obvious. Right? Eshu's, they were also living at one point in time, and they were gentlemen, and some of them were gangsters. A lot of them made a lot of money. They were very charming. The women loved them. They defended women, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no Eshu that would watch a man put a hand on a woman. And
Mm-hmm.
Eshus are sworn by oath to protect women at all costs and never to abuse women.
Oh, okay.
So that is a oath that Eshus have to take.
Okay. So a dusty couldn't become one unless they totally changed.
Right. Right. So we gotta we gotta reform them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's the topic of initiation, right?
What?
Killing that person's ego off into building a new person.
I feel like a lot of dusties would probably, join something like that because it would help them to feel like they have a purpose and they're important and that they would be learning from someone who's already made it, got money, understands this magic, gets to be around the type of women that they can't afford, A, B, C, and D. So it could be a way to get dusties to transform and change into a better person as well. That's what I would definitely advise it to
The
them.
door is open, but it ain't gonna be easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be easy.
I don't think it should be.
Right. So it would be a hard process for men and Dusties. They're gonna have a hard time because especially now because the standard for men to just get away with things it's just crazy these days. And we don't go by that over here.
So I do feel like more men should join or at least try to make it through. At least it'll give them something to do other than get worse.
I agree. I see your point. I see your point.
And a lot of times like learning magic and rituals and knowledge, boosts a man's self-esteem as well as a woman's.
I've
So
noticed that.
it's a purpose.
I feel like more men should get into magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like but when I say get into magic, I'm not talking about practice a little magic on this. I'm talking about initiate into an authentic spiritual system. Because a lot of men, they're missing the rite of passage. And initiation gives you that rite of passage to become a man. There's a lot of men that are not men.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a rite of passage.
Exactly. And women have natural rites of passage, I think.
Right.
And men probably don't have, the natural rites of passage. And they're not as magnified as women's natural rites of passage. So
more rites of passage for the men. Because the amount of men out here that are not providers is sickening. Okay. And I feel like in more ancient times that wasn't heard of like this. Now the standard to be a man in today's age is just so low. Men like myself are becoming extinct. And we got to change this.
Yeah, I think y'all should have a boot camp.
Yeah. I like that idea. A boot camp. What we gonna call it? Eshu's reformation of Dusties, something like that. Reforming the Dusty movement.
Rising from the dust.
Rising from the dust. And you need to make some shirts, rising from the dust.
And but I think if people had something to look forward to, something to belong to. This is why people used to join gangs, for the same reason, because they didn't have any, they weren't a part of anything. They didn't have any type of, what were you calling it?
Brotherhood.
Passages and brotherhoods.
Yeah, like a fraternity for men to be excellent providers. Let's focus on the provider piece, because that's what's lacking.
Right. Okay, we got one question. It says, thank you for the live. How can I deepen my connection to Pomba Gira? I work with her on and off, but want to be more consistent. Thank you both. Love you, T. That's from Z.
Okay. What up, Zena? I know Zena, right? Zena worked with me before, but I would say I want to put my number out.
I put it in the description bar.
Okay.
So description,
Right.
but you could say it.
Text me and write the same message. I am interested in working with Pomba Gira. Right now, I have some energy in me from several of the Pomba Giras to assist people right now, but that window is going to close very soon. So I would say if anybody is interested in working with Pomba Gira, to text me ASAP.
Okay, and the number is in the description.
Yeah, because to answer the question, the answer is going to be different for everyone.
That's true.
Some people don't even qualify. Some people, Pomba Gira is not going to be for them. I've seen that as well. Very selective energy sometimes.
Let me put the number up here. You want to say it out loud, and I'll just type it.
Yes.
All right.
917 605 1469. And we can go back and forth. I'll do a reading and we can see what fits you.
Your last name wrong. I put Hicks, not Hicks.
Oh Lord.
It's a typo. I'm sorry, but the number is right.
Yep. Text me ASAP. Text me now, and we can deal with that. Pomba Gira, like I said, some people are not meant to work with her. Some people need to work with her immediately. Some people, that's all they was missing, right? So it's an individual thing. It's all on an individual basis.
1469. I'm gonna put it again. All right.
All right.
There you go. So I know you've been in this game a long time, and I think some people need to know, like, when you do become successful, when you do get the life that you want, when you do, when the spells start working and stuff like that, you tell people what they need to watch out for, and how they can handle the success or getting exactly what they want without, going through like any type of a lot of people say, they don't know how to deal with certain people, or they don't know how to deal with the hate, or they don't know how to deal with this, they don't know how to deal with that. I mean, I teach that, but from your perspective, how would you tell them to be aware?
How to navigate.
Yes, how to navigate.
All right. So, in this thing with Pomba Gira, we have what we call rainha, and that is the Brazilian Portuguese for queen. And a lot of the most powerful Pomba Giras are known as queens, and that's how they carry themselves. And one of the best ways to learn how to navigate when you come into success is to watch a lot of the shows or movies or read books of how royalty had to maneuver, how they had to carry themselves, how they had to go through life. When you become successful, your life, you can no longer do certain things. You're not a normal person anymore. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot hang out with the average person. You cannot, there's certain things you're going to want to do that you can no longer do, right? Things like hate, you have to get used to, right? So if you're successful and when someone hates on you and you're surprised by it, then it denotes that you're not worthy of where you are. You gotta get
Mm-hmm.
used to hate,
Yeah.
right?
How do you deal with it, or have you experienced it on a level
Um,
you had to like really deal with it?
I make sure that I'm not accessible to the average person. That's one,
Mm-hmm.
and two, I make sure that everyone on my team is at the same caliber I'm at, and if they don't maintain that, I have to let them go. I gotta cut them off, right? And I'm like really a stickler for that, right? We're at the top together. You can't get caught slipping, right? You can't do things that are beneath you, right? You can't, for example, right? If you're a close friend of mine and you sleep with the wrong person, you you sleep with a dusty, I'm gonna come down on you. Because you're messing up our image. We're royalty now. We don't sleep with peasants.
Mm-hmm. So basically, you just adopt the royal standard or the old money standard.
Yes.
Yeah.
The,
So those type of rules.
stay on the royal standard. Like I said, some of these Netflix series with the royalty are very good, and it shows real things for how royalty had and has to move.
Mm-hmm.
So we're only watching certain shows.
Yeah. Like I understand. I have to turn the TV sometimes, and like I can't watch certain things anymore. It don't even fit right. Like I can't watch like people suffering in poverty, and glamifying it. Like you know what I'm saying? I'd rather watch somebody get paid.
You
You
know,
know.
and there's a lot of secrets that coincide with the Pomba Gira thing. So for example, like if you watch any of these royal shows, you notice that the queen, most or the princess or whatever, most of the time, she has handmaidens that are prepping her outfit all day just to stay at a certain look. And
Mm-hmm.
you take that and you apply that to your life in all areas,
Mm-hmm.
not just physical appearance.
Mm-hmm.
How you deal with people, you know, study the art of war. That's a big one.
And I think a lot of men and women weren't taught this as a young, when they were young. So now learning it older, taking it more seriously and understanding that it's a lifestyle.
Yep.
And it's kind of fun actually, like transforming into something that is so grand,
Mm.
fun. It's not hard. I mean, you have to be disciplined, but it's supposed to also be fun and you're supposed to enjoy it. It's not so serious all the time. It looks, serious, but
There-
you're enjoying it.
there's a consistent theme in the Pomba Gira thing, and a lot of the songs,
Mhm.
they're called ponchos. They have this theme around a woman going from the slums to the palace. Like I started here, but now I'm at the palace. The transformation process is fun, especially
Mhm.
when you're at the top. You're like, look where I started. I was down here, now I'm up here. That's when it's fun. When you at the top, you're like, wow, I came all the way from down here though.
Mhm.
Right. So when we talk about transformation, that's what we're talking about,
That's
right?
right.
That transition, going to the palace and staying there, staying on the throne. It's a big one.
Yeah, and through my other channel and through this one, I've helped many a women get from the
Mm,
drive-through register into the
right.
penthouse.
Right.
I've done I have done that. People have sent me pictures, wedding invitations, you know, big money saying thank you. Now, I'm married to this type of person. I don't have to do this anymore. And I feel
Yeah.
like, that's part of the whole energy that comes with like this type of like seduction magic, learning to work with Pomba Gira, or just take on her, attributes, the way she thinks, how she moves. And
Mhm.
like, I always say the attributes or the archetype, you know, is how women get there, like just by emulating and just sticking to this type of energy.
And that is something that you do very well.
hmm And it's fun to
Yeah.
watch people become successful too.
Right.
It's like
Right.
when you watch someone become great, it makes you feel good. And also, it teaches other people that it's possible.
Yeah, like this whole time we've been like this because we've been on the same frequency, right? And even us working together, that's like it's the best of both worlds
hmm
because we both have the understanding. I'm coming from the priest standpoint, and you're coming from the archetype and emulating standpoint, and we're meeting like this.
hmm
Yep.
And it also helps that, we got a history. We've known each other for a long time. So, we know how far we actually came, what we've done, who we had to deal with, what we had to deal with, and we can tell people that it is 100% possible. Like,
Yeah, take it from the experts,
hmm
right? I would say in a sense that we're now like strategists to get people there because we got a lot of experience in this thing.
hmm
Like I know when I got to the point when a princess is hires me to keep them rich, I know I got somewhere.
Yep.
A Saudi princess, like,
hmm
you know, I never thought in a million years, but then when you do step into the embodying, you do think that any and everything is possible.
You
So
do.
yeah,
I mean, it's possible because you make it possible by being disciplined and also not limiting yourself with certain beliefs or
it-
care what people think.
one of the reasons that I want everyone to tune the haters out is because they're hating, but you work to get here. They're
hmm
hating because they simply did not do the work and they were not good enough. So we're
hmm
not talking about anything that you get in a free handout. It takes work to get here and take work to maintain. So you
Yeah,
just got to do that to the haters.
and sometimes people don't see what you've put in and they just see your overnight success and they want to judge you because they think you had overnight success because they didn't see the long run, the long haul. So, you know, they're going to hate on you because they think they should have what you have, even though they didn't put in any type of effort.
That's a large portion of the world.
Yeah.
And that's one thing anyone who's trying to dive deep into success is most of the world, I'm talking about at least 85% of the population is not going to understand success. And the worst thing you can do right now is be surprised or disheartened when people that you thought were close to you now change up on you because you're successful.
hmm
Get used to it.
hmm
It's
So, like, what about people that feel bad about it, like, or guilty or whatever? What is your advice for them? Feel guilty or, for being successful? Because I know a lot of people feel that, but what do you say to them?
um meditate on not being as successful and see how you feel about it. See how you feel about it. Do you want to
That's a Pisces.
downgrade? I mean,
That's
some
exactly
people might want to downgrade.
no, not downgrade.
You know, you can't, don't allow yourself to feel guilty for your success because other people don't like it or don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Teach
Yeah,
them how to. If they still don't want to listen, it's their problem at that point.
teach them, and if they don't want to listen, that's their problem. But because if you allow yourself to feel guilty about being successful, it sends out the frequency that you don't appreciate where you are, and you will end up back where you were. I've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful with that.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, like, enjoy your success. Don't sit there and resent it or feel bad about it. Enjoy it. Like, you don't have to go all out. You don't have to spend like a bunch of money, but just enjoy what you got and own it.
You brought up another concept that we use in Pomba Gira and Kimbanda. It's a spirituality that includes what we call the enjoyments of life without overindulgence. So, for example, drink wine, but don't get drunk.
Yeah.
Right? But it is important for the human being to indulge in the enjoyments of life.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
I did learn that because I used to be very, very disciplined,
mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't enjoy the finer things in life. But now I was like, I'm do what I want.
Right. So, that is something that we're very big on.
Mm-hmm.
The enjoyments.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got a question.
Yep.
Okay. Cute for Life 14 says, "Hi, tell us about the Pomba Gira spells on your Etsy now, and are the Oudhs you're shipping or a spell done for you?" So they want to know about the Oudhs, the spells, and what's the difference.
All right. So Pomba Gira spell. So we got 3. What is it? One is 150. The second one is 199. The third one is 299. And pretty much what we're talking about now, love and attraction. So the first one is basic but still very powerful. All right. And we're working with 1 Pomba Gira and 1 Eshu. And that's done by me and also my coven, right? 25 members. We're all putting ritual into that. And the second one, the second tier up, is 3 different Pomba Giras and 3 different Eshus. Same process. And the third one, that's the strongest one, we sacrifice a pigeon, and it's 7 Pomba Giras and 7 Eshus. And that's the strongest one, right? So the higher the tier of Pomba Gira spell, the faster the work and the more potent the magic is behind it, right?
You send them like videos of the ritual being done by you.
Yes. Yeah. So everyone has my number. When you get the spell, text me so that we can, because I'm gonna need your picture and your name and everything. And when we finish the spell, you'll see the video of us doing the spell. When we do Pomba Gira spells, and so from tonight till tomorrow, we're doing spells, Pomba Gira spells. So when we do it, we get our whole coven together to do the work on it, and that's why it works so fast.
Do you have any videos on your channel or on of something that they can see, like an example, or on maybe on your Instagram or something like that?
I think I have some videos on my Instagram, but I can upload one to, like, when we get off the. Yeah, I got a lot of different videos on Pomba, especially like even on my Facebook. I got some things.
Well, like of the spell work, like an example. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I do have your Instagram linked in the description bar. Terrane Hicks.
Terrane_Hicks.
Yes, so I do have the link. Y'all can just click on it in the description. And, like when I used to do spell work back in the day, I used to send people the videos, and that's a very good thing because they feel like, they can see what's happening, they see what's going
Yeah.
on. They
Yeah.
feel like, they have something to look at when they start thinking about it. And
Yeah.
so it's a nice
Mhm.
thing to have.
I want everybody who wants a Pomba Gira spell to text me because we'll go back and forth. So that's one of the things with me is personalize. Like you gotta text me. I gotta see your picture. I gotta consult with Pomba Gira to see if I could do the work for you. So
Mhm,
text me so that we can get it rolling. But when I do the work, you do get a video, right?
mhm,
And you do see the printout with your picture and everything.
mhm, mhm. And since I've known you for probably about what 8, 9 years, maybe
Mhm.
longer. Like, I vouch for you. Like, you are a gentleman. You never said anything to me like out of line. Like he's very rare. I'm gonna say that you're a very rare type of person. So, like,
Thank you.
if anybody's having any type of doubts about his intentions and this and that, like, he does work with a coven full of attractive women. So he's not gonna be trying to DM you. What's the? I don't think he's that.
Yeah, you gotta worry about that over here, right? Like me and the sheriff, we've been cool for a long time. I mean, wow, it's been a while, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But yeah, you got true gentleman energy over here. You gotta worry about the weird stuff. You got a lot of people that get into this type of stuff. Predators. They get
Mm-hmm.
into this type of stuff to attract women, to prey on women. So you got a lot of that. So that's why when you mentioned the SU training, I'll let you know that it's hard because we got to keep the predators out of this,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's like my worst. It's not a fear, but it's one thing I would not let happen is me train the wrong person into this. Imagine a womanizer slash predator learning the secrets of seduction. It's dangerous. It can cause a lot of women trauma.
Yeah. So, um, that's why you're so selective of who you train as far
Yes.
as men are concerned. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I can vouch for him. I'm telling y'all, since I was like, I've known you since I was in my other house when I was,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep.
just doing videos with like 5 people in the comments. So,
Yeah, I remember the good days.
hmm so yeah, I mean, if you have like been through any type of, issues with other people, I don't think you have to worry about that with him.
Right.
'Cause I wouldn't be telling y'all to work with him. I wouldn't even be talking to him if he was anything like that. Y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm not doing it. So you said you definitely don't want to groom anybody. Yeah. So that's
Mhm.
good. So do you want to tell them anything about you personally, or just to allow people to get to know just a little bit about you as a person? Because I think a lot of people like to know just a little something before they work with somebody.
Yeah. So you know, I got into this Pomba Gira thing from when I was into and I'm a martial artist, right? And I got my black belt at 8 years old.
Wow.
And from when I got my black belt at 8 years old, fortunately, I didn't have to go into religion. I went straight into spirituality. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was a teenager, I was very rebellious, and I tried to rebel by practicing magic and black magic, only to discover that the practice of magic and occultism was like it's something that makes you a humanitarian or altruistic. And I got into this Pomba Gira thing
Mhm.
around 18, 19 years old. So it's been a while that I've been into this thing. And it set home to me because I was organically a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And when I found out who Eshu was in this Kimbanda science, I was like, oh snaps, that fits me. And from then, from 19 years old till now, I've been really passionate about this stuff. But I'm an occultist. Well, I've been on YouTube for around 10 years, 10 maybe 11 years. And you know what? I'll tell you a funny thing. Ashera actually inspired me to get on YouTube. I don't know if you know that, but
Okay. Well, that's
um,
good.
that's how back we go. I wasn't even on YouTube, right? And I've been on YouTube for 10, 11 years, and I'm a full-time sorcerer. This is all I do. This is what I do. This is all I do. I have a YouTube channel called the Occult College, and I teach
I like that too.
I teach the occult, sorcery, magic. It's a lot of people that want to get into this, but they don't want to be scammed, and they want to do this the right way. So that was the passion I developed for my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that now. Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
we were in a group
Mhm.
on Facebook, and I was telling you, you need to put this on YouTube.
Yeah, and me and Ashera was just cool friends. I was not planning on YouTube at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But like the stuff that you were teaching, I said that you could literally put that on YouTube and get more people involved, or more people, to come to your group or to be interested in what you were teaching.
Right.
And, because back then YouTube was like, there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram, or people weren't on it like they are because they didn't have reels.
Right.
So it was only like Facebook and YouTube.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. But
So
but
now you know a little bit about him. Do y'all have any
Mhm.
questions for him?
Yeah, I want to know the question.
Y'all ask him something and I'll put it up there. Like,
Let's go.
don't get too crazy.
Let's go.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so are you married? Why and why not? Or if not, why not?
Yes, of course. A gentleman is married. That's rule number one. That's rule number one.
They came straight out and asked.
It's
Okay,
rule number one,
okay, so
right?
he's married. Okay, any other? Let's see. How did you get into martial arts so young?
Um, I grew up in Harlem, New York, and my parents put me in martial arts because they, they had a boy that needed to know how to defend himself.
Okay.
And Power Rangers.
Okay, so I took a little bit of martial arts when I was younger,
Mm,
Taekwondo.
okay,
But I learned how to beat up somebody in case they mess with me. So I'm
I could see that.
good. Okay, so Hallie Cherry asks, lots of Islamic stuff behind you. Do you work with jinns?
Yes, I do work with Gene. There are some Shus that work with jinns. But yes, I'm talking about the actual spirits. But yes, I work with jinn. And I am a Sufi Muslim as well. And there's a lot of alchemy in that. Some of the Ouds are charged with Islamic prayers.
Mhm.
And we use jinn to charge some of the Ouds as well. So
So the more
yeah.
mystical, magical side of Islam.
Yes, Sufism is the mystical side of Islam. Yes.
Mhm. So what do you do those types? Do you work with that energy? If somebody wanted to work with that energy, like or do you specialize in that too?
Yes. Consultation, because that's a very tricky world, to be honest, right?
Mhm.
And although I'm not very deep into this stuff, I make sure that my customers, clients, students are safe practicing. You know, there's a lot of people that want to get into the mystical things and they're not ready yet. They need a little bit of training. So that's another thing you may want to text me about, the gin stuff.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So, do you do things with fortune and fame?
Oh, of course. Now, fortune and fame, something to text me about, right? Depending on who you are, there's consequences, right? Some of you have to go through things first before you snatch the fame. You got to work at certain things. There's certain magics that you can do that can speed up the process. However, depending on where you are, it can be a little dangerous. You might lose something, right? That's what you might want to get a reading for. I want to, text me. I want to get a reading. I want to see if I can increase my fame. Is that safe for me? And you'll get a yes or no. And if it's a yes, yeah, we got some things we could do.
You know, a lot of people talk about that, but they don't understand certain things about it. And that's good that you do consultations about it, because I feel like the more aware you are, the more knowledge you have, especially in the occult, you should definitely learn more, as much as you can, before you even try to think about seeking fame. That's the only
Yes,
thing I can tell you.
right. There's, and this is the advanced work that I get into, right? Like there's contracts, there's pacts, right? There's sacrifice, right? And a lot of people that are not into the occult, they don't understand these things. They pay somebody, they're quick to pay somebody, but they didn't read the fine print. The good thing with me is that I will peel back the fine print with you before you proceed with something. And this speaks to when we spoke about like the level of success that we're at. We're not in a rush to take anybody money at this level. So the desperate person will take your money, do a fame working, and then before you know it, your aunt is in a car accident. Right? We're not interested in doing that to you.
Right. And I always tell people, before you get famous, get rich. So you're not desperate to sign any type of contract.
The worst thing is desperation.
You should be teaching yourself how to get rich. And like fame should be second. Fame should be like a side effect of being however rich you become. Because I do feel like money spells or financial increase spells serve you a lot longer.
I've gotten to a certain level of fame, and you get over it fast. By the way, you get over it quickly.
Yeah. There's some people that have fame but no money.
Oh, that's the worst.
Like what?
I'm taking the money all day.
Yes.
I'm taking the money.
I'd rather have the money, because like it don't even make sense to be famous if you broke.
You got a lot of that going around.
Like, how you gonna be famous and broke? It don't make no sense.
You're a broke famous person. That's embarrassing.
But I always say, that can change if you focus on your money. Like, you see a lot of these people like that got famous, and they all of a sudden they make a shift and just start focusing on the money and becoming a billionaire, or just starting like all these different businesses on the side, because the fame don't pay. It costs you to be famous.
Right. Now, depending on how someone moves, the fame can lead to money, but you got to move fast on that. Like she said, the minute that fame comes, money. Right? Once you get the fame, go straight to them. Don't even think about any more fame. Money. So, good strategy sometimes.
And definitely always keep a money like ritual. Like if you do, like any type of ritual, I always do the money one. You just
I
gotta
have
put it in there.
I have a thing with a lot of my students and clients is they get a money ritual from me at least once a month.
Mm-hmm.
At least once a month. And this has been a thing for years, right? You invest in money rituals so that, for example, the economy will always do this.
Mm-hmm.
You maintain your money by getting money rituals. So it doesn't matter if the economy is going to take a dip or not. So money rituals is a serious investment that I would implore all of you to get into regularly. Money rituals and money baths.
Mm-hmm. And for the people that say, well, how am I gonna make money if I'm paying somebody to do a money ritual? Can I just keep that money? And well, people play the lottery, people gamble, people go to the casino thinking they're gonna get money in return. Let me tell y'all something. I have gotten more money from doing money spells and money rituals than I ever took home from any casino, any lottery ticket. I don't even play the lottery. If I did, it was for fun one time. But I take home, I get more money when I do like better business or money spells or money rituals than I do ever from any type of casino stuff. Now, if you do the money spell and then maybe go to the casino, it might increase whatever you're getting
I will say this, right?
or raise for money to come in.
I will say this. When y'all get money spells, pay attention to what you ask for. Because when I was a teenager, I asked for the right things with my money spells, and that got me to where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you hit me up for a money spell, ask for certain things like I don't want to ever have to work a 9 to 5 ever again in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I asked for things like that when I was 17.
You gotta be
And
smart.
be smart. Money spells are so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Definitely, like, don't ask for more than you can handle, and make sure you know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, don't ask for like $1 million in a week.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, because like some of you all are asking for things that you know is way out of your spectrum. So you'll do the money spell, and what will happen is the way the universe works, it will continue to try to figure out the calculations. So you can go, hey, I want $10 million, and the universe will be like, okay, well, it's going to take you about 15 years. Be real specific, real detailed, but make it make sense, right? I'd rather never have to work than ask for $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
Because that me not having to work might encompass $10 million, or it may not, but I don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
So be wise with what you're asking for.
Yeah, I said something very similar. I don't want to have to check my bank account to do what I want. I don't want to have to work for somebody
Right,
else. I
right,
don't want to have to do anything. I don't want to have to think about nothing. I just want
right.
to enjoy life.
I
So,
don't want to have to think about rent.
mm-hmm.
I don't have to think about that. And 17 years old and today, it's not a thought. It's
Mm-hmm.
paid.
So that's good. So, do you think that if someone got a spell done and it was very successful, um, do you think that I guess some people start to like still worry no matter what. If they gain something, they have to give something. Like, what do you say to people that worry about that stuff, even after you tell them it's taken care of because they're working with you? Because a lot of people still will sit there and worry, and it may
That
mess up everything.
that is such a good question. I love your questions because only an experienced person into this thing would ask certain questions. So the worst thing you can do after you get a ritual done is think about it, right? Because you do a spiritual working. If you think about it, if you continue to hold on to it, it does not get a chance to go out into the universe. You held on to it, so now it doesn't move. So you get a ritual done, forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, wait a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a general rule where most professional magicians will tell you to wait at least 21 days before you cycle back to even the thought of the ritual you just done.
Mm-hmm.
Do a
So
ritual, don't think about it.
that's what I always say. Do it,
Mhm.
forget it. This is Terrane Hicks. People are asking who's my guest. Terrane Hicks, YouTube channel, The Occult College. Also, he's on Instagram, and he is the man behind the Oud of Gira oils, and he also does spell work. He is an occultist, very well versed, and he offers spiritual services as well as ouds and a lot more. He's teaching us about Pomba Gira and how to attract money, men, passion, etc., etc. So that's who he is. So let me read Hallie Cherry's comment. She says she's saying I'm rich and never have to work again. What should you say to make sure it doesn't come from harm, like an accident, lawsuit, or something like that?
Okay. You add in the intention that I do not want to expend my karmic debt to this acquisition. Right? I want to get rich, but I do not want family member to get harmed in the process of me getting rich. Put that out there.
Mm-hmm. I say
Right?
the same thing. Yeah. I want this to happen as long as nobody I love and know and that are close to me has to suffer for it, and that it comes the easiest, fastest way.
So when you text your intentions about what you want and your goals, your money goals, put that in there. Put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So yeah, because when you're young or when you're desperate or when you don't have a lot of knowledge and you word things wrong, the universe don't, understand. Like if you say you want something fast, quick, and in a hurry, it's going to the fastest path, or it's doing something that is, you got to be specific. That's all I can say. Just be more specific and less in a rush to
You-
get something out on paper or to say
uh,
something.
Another thing I want to add in there, and it's, I would say it's simple. I'm gonna say clear your karma, right? And what I mean by that is just be careful on how you treat people,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't want to be a miserable, evil person
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna interfere with your karma, your wealth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just be a generally good person too. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of just miserable people, they want wealth and they'll petition for magic to get wealth, but something is going to take from them because they're just bad people.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying that like maybe the wrong intentions for the wealth or the person won't do certain things with the wealth may have to endure, like you said earlier, certain things?
Yes.
Okay, so I think a lot of people really want to know about that because so many people rush into stuff, rush into things. They don't even think about certain things. So, like you said, if you have someone that's abusive or a predator,
Right.
did something wrong, like I feel like that's why a lot of stuff is coming out. And the whole Cat Williams thing and Diddy thing, and all that information was coming out about these people. And they may be rich, they may have this, they may have that, but
I- I'm going to talk about a little bit of that because that sometimes that scares people from getting these type of workings done.
yeah, that's why I wanted to
Okay.
make clear. So
So, um, the industry is a very small fraction of people in the world.
hmm
Not every single body that is doing spiritual work or whatever for success is in that category. That's a very specific category of people that have been known to do weird things. It doesn't translate over to us. So I did want to say that. Because a lot of people, the minute they hear that spell for success, they're thinking Illuminati, devil worshiping, and sell my soul and sacrificing babies. And we
Mm-mm.
not doing that over here. So this is a different thing. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question, because I'm curious. So that type of stuff is more for the people that know they gotta pay because they bad.
Right.
They say, I know I'm this, I know I'm that. Let me go ahead and do what I gotta do, because ain't no way I'm getting out of this without having to do something. It's kind of
Right.
like that. But if you're a generally good person and you haven't been, corrupted yet, you still got a chance at being successful without having to do all of
Right.
that stuff
Right.
crazy
Now,
at all.
now, some issues will work with those type of people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't work with them. So that's why I need everybody checking, because I'm going to read, should I do this work or not? Because I'm not doing work for everybody. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going vet because I don't support wickedness and evil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some people do, but not over here. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, I used to turn people down left and right because they was asking me for some weird stuff, and I'm like, no, you can do that by yourself.
Right. Yeah, it gets wacky in my profession, and it bothers me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I got my number open for you all, but sometimes I don't have my line open because people get real wicked when they request black magic. Not everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, there's people that will ask me to do magic to kill someone's girlfriend because they want that girlfriend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, you know, it gets real wacky. So that's some of the
Yeah.
stress that I can deal with sometimes when people are asking for magic.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, a lot of those times, those people have mental issues as well, and
Yes,
watch out for that. So,
right,
and then they get something done, and then they want to take it back. I'm like,
right. Oh
they're not
yeah.
sure of
Okay,
what they want.
so I'm going to let everybody know this now. If you get any work done, good or bad, whether it's from me or the next person, you cannot take it back. You sent it out already, right? You cannot reverse something you put out there. So be very careful what you ask for, especially if you're trying to harm someone.
Yeah. Okay. So Hallie Cherry's asking, can you do work that only involve the 99 names? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, so they're talking about Sufism, the
Mm-hmm.
Islamic stuff, the Islamic prayers. Yeah, we got stuff for that. We got
Okay.
stuff for that. Text
So
me.
text him the
Mhm.
numbers in the description bar. No refunds, somebody saying. No refunds, no take backs. You said what you said. You're
The-
supposed to meet like on
This,
ease. Exactly what you
listen,
say.
the spirit ain't refunding you, all right?
Y'all go watch Ease by you can't take it back. It's over. Um, so do you okay when you work with someone, if you can tell that they have something wrong with them mentally, that's another thing that you probably won't want to work with. Like, if you could tell they got some mental issue, you probably will say, no, I don't think we can work together, because I've run into when a lot of people like that, and you can tell. And so I choose not to work with certain people anymore because, one, it's taking advantage of them. Two, they're not in the right mental capacity to understand, what they're asking for.
When people text me, sometimes it might take me a little second to text back. I'll text back within 24 hours, but I have to read it. I have to feel it. And one thing that I've trained myself to feel for if someone has a mental issue because I'm being careless and I'm taking advantage of that person. I'm putting them in harm's way sometimes, or I can put myself in harm's way. So I take my time and I sit with everybody who texts me and their question,
Mhm.
right? So that's why if you don't get a text back right away, I'm waiting to see if I should work with you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to put that out there because a lot of people
Yeah, I got it.
they get the idea and just start texting you and let them think twice.
Don't text me nothing crazy.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so do you have anything to ask me?
Um,
I'm gonna let you ask me some stuff.
I want to ask you, emulating this spirit of Pomba Gira. I also feel like you emulate Urzuli, Ashera, a lot of the empowered goddesses. Um, can you tell me, like, around what age did you know that you had these attributes?
High school.
Hmm.
Um, I would say the year between 10th grade and 11th grade. So I was probably 15, 16 when I felt like this energy was, very strong in me. I actually also hung around a lot of ladies that had the same type of energy. And so, when you come to that age, you hang out with, like older siblings, older, cousins and whatnot. And I think I learned from like watching other people, and it also, was in me naturally. But I feel like definitely in high school, I started to dress like more, you know, uh, like this is literally something I would have worn in high school, a black jacket or blazer, a cute
Mhm.
tank top under it, skirt or slacks, and like a conservative but still feminine.
Mhm.
I definitely wore red lipstick, and I definitely, had to have the nicer stuff like Chanel. I got a job so I could literally buy Chanel nail polish, lipstick, and perfume. So I like the finer things at a younger age. And, I just walked in that, and people automatically associated me with like a darkness, like a dark goddess. They would call me
Yeah,
Morticia.
yeah, I like that. I can
I
see
was
that.
always there, like in high school.
I
So,
got I got another question for you.
uh-huh.
Um, have you ever done or considered doing like a charm school for this type of thing?
If I develop the patience to deal with certain people, maybe.
Okay.
Um, I don't have the patience to deal with people right now because I'm still raising daughters. But I feel like after, they're grown, I could possibly have that patience with other people,
Yeah.
because like I spread myself thin with what I do, all the businesses that I have, and then raising kids. So I think after that part, after they're grown, I'm still going to be a part of their life, but I possibly could at a certain point. I'm not going to say never.
What is the most so I got a good question for you. How do you deal with men that obnoxiously gawk at you when you're in your attraction and maybe you're in public? How do you deal with that?
I live on a side of town where that don't really happen because like but I'll tell you how I did react when I was in an area where that would happen. Um, you just have to be like very like snobby. You got to hold your
Uh,
head up high, act like you can't hear them, ignore them, act like you're on the phone, put your sunglasses on, be like standing on business. So, I act like I don't hear them, or I act like I'm on the phone, or I just simply keep moving. Like, especially if it's vulgar. But if it like in my younger days, I would get that like way, way more because I was in different areas, like going to the club, going to the bar. Um, I actually walked into a bar one time wearing leather pants, leather bustier, and like a feather jacket like this, but like more fitted. And all the guys' heads turned to me, even if they were with women. And I'm just standing at the bar, and then I hear who does she think she is? Da 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 da. And like I was getting dirty looks, and all these guys rush up to buy me a drink. And I
Okay.
take the drink. I took it.
I, I
Even
got
though I
okay.
took it because I was like feeling that energy. I took that energy that came with the drink, that came with the attention, and it took my power. Even
Mm.
though, I feel like it empowered me somehow. I didn't find it offensive because, they were offering something instead of gawking. So there was something for to be offered instead of just gawking. So the proper thing and nice thing to do was to take it.
I got one last question for you.
Okay.
Um, how often how often do you notice people trying to copy off of you?
I don't really
And,
notice
mm,
because I don't watch them.
I like that answer right there. That's $1 million worth of game.
People will ask me who people like, what do you think about this person? What do you think about that person? I'm like, who is that? I don't know who that is. Like I don't watch people that do what I do. Unless it's like, unless I know them already or like we're friends or like we like each other or something like that, but that's very rare. So normally people don't really reach out to me and I don't reach back out to them unless I like them. Like I'll look at their picture. I'll look at a lot of stuff and I think I have that sixth sense where I can tell too what their intentions are. And so sometimes I won't talk or sometimes I will, or sometimes they have to get my attention. But I don't think like people copying me is anything, just like, people copy Michael Jackson.
Right. That's just $1 million worth of game. There's people that I try to coach to look at it in the vantage point that you look at it, and they just don't listen to me. Everybody that's copying off of them, they notice it and they can't get over it. And I'm like, get
It's
used to
better
it.
for them to copy off of you than you copying off of them.
Right, right,
It's better
yes,
for you to be the blueprint than
yep.
be the one that's copying.
I think one thing that they don't realize is that people are gonna notice
Hmm.
if you're being copied off of. You don't have to announce it. You don't have to approach the person. Let them do it. It's better that you are the originator because
Hmm.
it will be seen. The best thing you can be is yourself because
Hmm.
nobody can be you but you.
And no matter what, if someone's copying you, you're gonna come through them anyway, and people are gonna know, like you said. Um, and that's just free advertisement.
You know, I have a lot of people that tried to copy my oods over the years, and
Hmm.
I don't care. I could sue them, and it got the sauce in it.
Hmm.
And I think if there was anything that we talked about today, that the theme was like that flavor,
Hmm.
right? The necessary things you need for that it factor, the sauce, the flavor, what we call the swag, the spice.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think people should be busy becoming a better version of themselves than to see who's copying the old version of themselves.
right.
Because if you're continuously evolving to the next level, getting more, doing this, doing that, learning more stuff, whoever's copying your past self,
I
that's not
I
who you are.
I used to play a mental game with myself when I would notice people copying off of me. Is I would secretly compete with them in my head as a game, and refine myself. And when I would turn around like 6 months later, I would be like all the way up here because I'm challenging only myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a technique that I would use. But I would never approach the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an off-topic question. Do you think enlightened artists are ex-Jehovah Witnesses, Prince, MJ, Selena? I
Um
don't think that they are. They couldn't help how they grew up, in my opinion.
yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think
They
so.
were just born into it.
Right.
Okay, Meg says, the Oud of Heaven still available? Remember that sent from a long time ago? I've ordered a few in the past. I missed the sent.
I will bring it back after this video. But Oudh of Heaven is the #1 Oud of all time for the past 7 years. So yeah, I'll put it back on. Everybody asks about that one.
I think that was one of my favorites from like the old days too.
Yeah, the old days. Yep.
I think I still have a bottle.
Yeah, Oudh of Heaven.
It's like almost gone now. So yeah. So anything else you want to ask? Because like I don't know. Do you want to stay on longer? Do you want to talk about anything else, or you got somewhere to be? I mean,
It is up to you. I'm free. I ain't got no curfew.
me neither. Okay, so because I'm already at home, so I don't know.
Right.
How do you deal with? Okay, y'all ask questions that don't have nothing to do with the topic, but let's see if we can find some. But somebody's asking about necromancy.
Oh Lord.
I think people are more fascinated by the mystery of the occult. And maybe they don't want you to do it. They just want to know something about it.
That takes some study, man. Gotta read.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of us that got into the occult, we didn't really have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We were born like this. You know, some of us were seeing spirits at 3, 4 years old, and we couldn't help it if we wanted to. And you know, we got into it because like that was life. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so you know, the occult is like the bottom of the ocean. It's just there's always going to be mysteries that you'll continue to study, but it takes a lifetime to study, and even on your deathbed, you're still going to be studying. Something you got to take your time with and feel it out. If the occult calls you, it'll resonate in your soul that you should be dealing in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But occult means hidden, and it's about hidden sciences.
Mm-hmm. Let me talk about that because you said Pomba Gira have lived before.
Mm-hmm.
You come back to work with people. So isn't that almost a little form of necromancy?
Oh,
If
it absolutely is necromancy,
mm-hmm.
right? It is applicable necromancy. You know, so there's a lot of people that they are. You got people that's in the cemeteries right now trying to bring the dead back to life. That's not practical. Like as far as why would you want to do that? You know.
Well, like ancestor work, isn't that a form of necromancy too?
Absolutely. Any type of spiritual art of dealing with the dead is necromancy.
So like Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, All Saints Day,
That's all necromancy.
all of it's necromancy.
All of it.
Even Christianity has necromancy in it.
Yeah, saints, venerated saints.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's bringing the dead back to life because
Right.
you're asking something dead to pray for you.
Mm-hmm. So, like taking the mystery out of it, a lot of people practice necromancy and don't even know it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In every religion.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, people don't realize that they already practice magic, necromancy, and a lot of stuff. They just don't realize it. And it's not, as long as you don't have a bad intention trying to exploit anything, I think it's fine.
Would say, because a lot of people that are afraid of doing bad or evil. If you're not evil, you know if you're evil or not.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that you're not evil, you shouldn't. You don't have to be afraid.
Right. Like, people that are dead were once alive. That's just common sense. So, like, people fear stuff. Like I said, I used to be a mortician. People fear stuff when they should be fearing the living more than the dead.
The living are by far way more dangerous.
Exactly.
The dead are most of the time they at peace.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any good occult book recommendations? Someone is asking, because I'm always just gonna promote my stuff or whatever books that I have around.
The question is how occult. My favorite book is the Necronomicon.
I have that book behind me on my bookshelf.
Yeah, written by author Simon.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good book. It's a good book. Had a lot of secrets in it. Good book.
I read that in high school.
Yeah. I bet. Do you consider yourself an occultist?
Mm-hmm. To a degree, like I wouldn't just go. I would say, like, if somebody were asking me a bunch of questions, I think I could answer most of them. And I have, since I was like in the fifth or sixth grade, been reading about the occult.
This is another good book, The Arabian Nights.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's actually an occult manual. It's a good one. Anybody is into cartomancy, this is a good book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this book right here. Teaches you how to
Get my
be
book.
playing cards. This is a good book.
This is a good book too.
The Queen. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I got a lot of books out here, But a book like this is really advanced. So let me
Mm-hmm.
try to show you.
Oh, okay.
I got all sorts of books. I got books on genies and all. I'm what you call a bona fide occultist, like
Yeah.
a SHERA.
I got a bunch of books back there, but I ain't finna get up and get them. But you can
Look
see.
at it. Look at that occultist with all those books in the back.
I have alchemy and mysticism up there. Books about the omniverse. I'm going into quantum physics on them.
Yeah, I like it.
All the Egyptian stuff, alchemy.
And I was thinking about opening up a occult bookstore / coffee shop. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about doing something like that.
that's a good idea. I'll probably do that when I get old. Yeah, because like I want to travel and stuff. But like when I come back and settle down or see the world, I might do that too. You've been okay. Riri says you begin to sing or ask things. My candle from the Botanica begins to flicker, like it's communicating. Could it be ancestor? So the flame is flickering on the candle. Is that someone talking through the candle? Ancestors.
It sounds like some type of spirit, right? But it is very hard to know what it could be because there are so many things that walk to and fro this plane. So it's just impossible to know unless you know how to do an investigation. That's the answer I would give.
Yep. We do like Have you ever used a ghost app on your phone, like to communicate with spirits?
Oh Lord. Oh my God. I know somebody who plays with one of those like every day. They obsessed with it.
Mm-mm. I draw the line. Um, so a lot of times, like if you have one of them ghost apps or even a pendulum or something like that, um, the candle will start to flicker if you start to ask questions. It could just be perfectly fine. And you could be totally across the room, no fan, no air on, but you start asking questions, it's going to start flickering. So you don't know what you're talking to, who you're talking to, like you said. So
Yeah, be careful with that because you invite them in and now they're gonna troll you.
hmm let me tell y'all, I told them last week, my daughter was saying something that wasn't like very nice to people that no longer have life. And the music box just started going off by itself in a whole nother room that had not been touched in months.
Yeah, because spirits easily can access the frequency.
hmm
So that's easier than the Ouija board,
Yeah. So
you know.
like, yeah, just be careful because they a lot of times they're listening and they also will communicate with you if you reach out. So
That's another thing that I do with my coven. We do exorcisms,
hmm
and we're really good. And I do a well. Sometimes I'm the only person in the area who can do it.
hmm
So a lot of times when I get called for exorcism, I have to do it. I'm the only person within the 100 miles that can actually perform one. So
Okay, so tell us, like, you don't have to give us too much detail, but what did you have to like remove? What kind of energy was it?
a lot of times you got what we call intranquil spirits, right?
Mhm,
Eh, eh, dead people who died in very dire circumstances, untimely deaths. They still have trauma,
mhm.
and they're lost. So because they're lost, they have all this trauma and sad. They when they get to a victim that they can possess, they cause havoc,
Okay.
right?
Do you pick up? How can you pick them up in cemeteries by accident or just
Oh,
by?
absolutely. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean yeah. That's why when when you go to the cemetery, there's certain cleansings that you should do,
hmm
and even when working the Pomba Gira science, we do a lot of cemetery work, but we have issues that clean us off from attracting the wrong energies.
hmm
Mhm.
Okay. Someone asked how to protect yourself. Palo Santo.
Palo Santo's like sage is okay, but a lot of spirits can override that stuff.
hmm
Because then now we can get into the discussion of demons. Like there's demons that have rank that you burn some sage or Palo Santo and they just looking at you like, what's that supposed to do?
Like that smell good.
Yeah, exactly. So this is why you get into this spirit work, talk to a professional,
hmm
somebody who's trained in this stuff. You
hmm
know,
And the best thing I can tell someone that's just like learning about it, just learn before you start to do. Learn as much as you can before you start to do anything. I
right?
mean, that's number one because I read longer than I practiced.
Study, learn, get a spiritual teacher or mentor that can walk you through things, someone who's experienced.
hmm Um, do you have any, like you say you sell rings, or I don't know if you do rings or like enchanted things that you send someone, like um some people do necklaces. Like, do you have any of those charms or amulets or anything that you have?
Yes. We charge things like this,
hmm
right? These are like protection amulets.
hmm
I make wood amulets.
hmm
Um, I would say I don't do rings.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of wood burn amulets.
Mm-hmm.
These are actually amulets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got all kind of baths. That's like my main thing because a bath stays on you
Mm-hmm.
all day. You know, uh, I don't do rings though. I think
Mm-hmm.
it takes a little bit too much time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because somebody was asking, like, could they do their own amulets, rings, charms? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you trust yourself to do those type of things?
I can. We got to talk back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if somebody was going to a cemetery, what is something they can use to protect themselves from not having to be followed? Because a lot of people ask me this, and there's a lot of different ways. But what's your way?
When you come out of the cemetery, when you come out of the entrance, walk backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Let the spirits know that you do not want to be followed. So when you
Mm-hmm.
come out of the entrance, walk backwards because you're sending a message to them that you do not want to be followed. And then we all have guardian spirits
Mm-hmm.
that when we make a request like do not enter or do not follow me, the guardian energies will reaffirm your position that you don't want to be followed. And they're a whole lot less likely to follow you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you know, a lot of people, priests that do cemetery work, we have license, spiritual license to do cemetery work so that we don't get followed and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I used to work in that industry, so I would have to go there almost every other day. So, um,
Mhm.
what would you tell like somebody that can't do those things because of a professional, you know, you can't be doing that at a funeral. Is there something you can carry instead? Because some people can't sit there and walk backwards, depending on who they're with or who's watching, or
I would
so.
say, okay, I would say talk to a authentic priest
Mm-hmm.
in any indigenous spirituality, whether they are indigenous Mayan priests, whether they're a priest from one of the ATRs, because any one of those priests have a remedy of something that you can carry or a ritual that you can do so that you find that can be discreet. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's important to have at least one priest as a mentor. Like, even if you don't want to initiate into anything, at least one expert that you can talk to, like, hey, by the way, I'm going to the cemetery. You got anything I can do so that I don't get followed? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be around family. I need to be a little discreet. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for example, me, right, if I had to like come out of the cemetery and walk backwards, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just be discreet about it.
Oh, like you're gonna like turn around and like look.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
up.
you're
Oh,
not going to. Yeah, it's like you don't have to broadcast the ritual
but
you're doing.
sometimes you can't walk out. Sometimes you got to drive out. So how you do that?
Come back.
Just look back.
Nah, wait till everybody leave. You left. Come right back in and walk and walk backwards out.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, I couldn't do none of that. So I was just going out the regular way for years.
Another thing I want to say this too. You're going to the cemetery for a funeral is different than the person who wants to go to the cemetery at midnight because they're bored,
Hmm.
and the other person who wants to go to the cemetery at midnight because they're bored and they want to have sex in the cemetery. These people get followed. These are the people that more likely get followed than the person who's coming to a funeral for a loved one 100 deep.
Hmm.
So a lot of times those dead spirits they are looking for people who are playing games.
Okay.
You
That's
know what
it.
I'm saying? Those
Probably, they were like, well, she keep
more
coming.
of those people get targeted.
Okay.
Mm.
So someone says, how do you do altar work and altar? Do you do altar work and altar blessings too?
Yes. Um, the whole concept of an altar is that it's so complex to me because everyone needs a different thing. There's no general altar.
Right.
So I think that's one of the things that give me a headache is when people are putting out this is how you set up an altar,
Right.
right? But yeah, I do altar work, but that's very customized. That's
Mm-hmm.
a one-on-one thing.
Mm-hmm. True. Okay. Do you practice magic, dragon magic? Somebody's asking. Look, we got everything back down. Yeah. Oh, that's a dragon skull, huh? That's cool.
Does that answer your question? Yes.
Okay. Um, how to transmute being shy.
um
Work with Pomba Gira.
Work with Pomba Gira and drink some wine.
Yeah, I always say take some shots of tequila too.
Some tequila, little Pomba Gira ritual. You be all right.
Uh, okay. Do ancestors wait to reincarnate to aid family?
If they
Someone.
have the clearance to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Some people live their lives as total scumbags, so they can't do anything. They gotta wait. So what you do here is very important because where you go after here it all comes from the rank that you established here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is another reason to get into the occult because you have control on where you may go.
Mm-hmm. I said that yesterday or day before that on my channel, on this channel. We started talking about like the quantum physics of it, like the plasma, the fourth state of matter, the returning back to the, you know, the atmosphere and like reanimating the reincarnation, through that type of energy. Like, so
Mhm.
a lot of times if you create and learn all this occult stuff here, you'll know what to do. That energy will know what to do, just like in the ancient Egyptian days, they had stuff written on the walls for those energies to follow,
Yep.
just in case they needed a reminder. But they were studying and scribes and learning all that stuff. And people say, they were obsessed with death, but they were obsessed with their rank afterwards,
Mhm.
and how they could reincarnate, come back through the next pharaoh and da da da. So I was talking about that yesterday. So it has to do with like your spiritual rank and your amount of consciousness that you are when you pass, like your frequency.
And I believe that MJ was one of those people
Mm-hmm.
who had rank, a lot of rank from stuff he did before he reincarnated as Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to just run through this reality like it was nothing because he established that rank a long, long time ago.
Yeah,
So that's an example.
he said, can it be he stayed away too long?
Hmm.
Did I leave your mind when I was gone?
That's another thing. We both Michael Jackson fans, diehard Michael
I want to
Jackson
be
fans.
where you are. Oh. That's, if you listen, they be telling it.
Yep.
But a lot of people don't listen or, and that's another part of the occult. You got to be a good listener as
Yeah.
well.
You gotta be very. I don't like to use the word humble, but you gotta be very graceful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the occult it's outer space. It's the bottom of the ocean. You can't
Mm-hmm.
know everything in the occult. You will
Right.
never know everything of the occult. Very important to know that for everybody who's trying to dive into that.
Right. And you shouldn't know everything, because then what are you going to do after that?
Yeah, that'll drive you
Gotta keep
crazy.
learning.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we got that MJ thing because like we both like MJ, but it's because like if you think about it, the most famous person that ever walked the planet was him. And how you just gonna come on and just take over like that, leave, come back, and nobody can take your spot? You know what I'm saying? Like that was like some real rank
Occult,
energy, some high magician stuff.
straight occultist.
Hmm.
That's an example of an occultist.
It is, and because everything he did had an occult meaning. Like even if he wouldn't try, it was just automatic. Like he couldn't even help it.
Right.
Like he
Mhm.
can't help it if he wanted to.
Yep.
So you know. Hmm. So someone says, "How would you explain Michael Jackson's psychological disturbance with spiritual strengths?"
Um.
He was way ahead of his time, I think, and people couldn't understand what he was talking about until later. Some people could, but some people were just like they only heard a beat.
That's
They didn't.
always going to be the case for the genius and the real superstar. I think the word superstar is used a lot more loosely than it should. But like, and a superstar is going to have, or organically, they're going to have mental disturbance, right? A genius by default is going to have the disturbance. Those two types of people are occultists, though,
Mhm.
because an occultist is a specialist in mysticism and in the mystery of life. But you kind of gotta be crazy. But you know what I'm saying? When we say crazy, who here is actually sane?
Well, when you become rich, they just call it eccentric.
Right.
You're only crazy if you're broke. So, um, because people can't understand you because you're vibrating on such a higher dimension, you
Right.
sound crazy to some people, but you make perfect sense to those who are right there with you. You
Right.
know,
Yep.
so that's how I feel because a lot of people couldn't understand certain people, and sometimes you get to a point where you're vibrating so high, you're learning so much that you can't even talk to normal people anymore, and you got to take a break
Yep.
because those people are like, huh?
Right.
What? Like, okay, let me go ahead and just take a break because I'm vibrating too high for you, and you're not going to get what I'm saying. So let me come back down here to earth.
Right. Hmm.
So I think that's what a lot of people face, and they really want to keep evolving, but they won't be able to communicate with other people or fit in anymore. So they don't.
Right. So that's where
Mhm.
we get into the deeper into the occult and people start exploring things like other dimensions and they have an interest in contacting extraterrestrials and they get into the what we call the astral plane is because they're being pushed out of
Mhm.
regular existence
Right.
by the society and their experiences in life,
Right.
right?
Are the oods good for self-love?
Of course, of
Yes. They make
course.
me smell good and like smelling myself.
Yes, yes. Self-love potion.
So yeah, when people start to like get to the alien stuff and like the other dimensions and seeking out other dimensions, you know, that's also something that you can take with you when you leave here because now you
Yes.
have a place to go. Now you have something to create with. Now you have a different perspective.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
like back in the old days when people used to draw drawings from a bird's eye perspective, you know, before there were planes, it's because that's how high they got spiritually, mentally.
Right.
And
Exactly.
one of the artists that I really like, Leonardo da Vinci, he was the first person to draw a city from a bird's eye perspective,
Mm.
like, and where he, like, a building, because they hired him to fix some architecture. And most people just approached it from the street level, looking up, but he approached it from the sky level, an architecture. So I thought, because everybody knows that he was, beyond his or beyond this dimension. So I feel like when we get that to that level, if you don't have people around you that are on a similar level, I think that's why they make them secret societies. Then
Yes.
people are going to start to tell you, what are you talking about? And so then you just have to be like, okay, never mind, you ain't there yet.
Yeah, you need at least one companion
Mm-hmm.
as you go deep into this mystic stuff, or you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get very, very, very lonely.
Yeah, it reminds me of that Michael Jackson song, Hold My Hand,
Hmm.
you know,
Yep.
that so yeah, a lot of the information is in a lot of people's music because they can't say it. They got to sing it and put it in art form because it would sound weird if it was just spoken. So a lot of times people put stuff in art, music, symbolism
Yep.
to express themselves because they can't express themselves verbally to most people.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, well,
All right.
I'm gonna let you go because I think you probably been here too long and you
Yeah,
probably
my
got.
phone is about to die.
All right, so
All
I
right.
didn't know you had your phone. I'm sorry.
No, it's all
I'm
good.
Thank you for being a guest, though. We learned a lot. Thank you. Everybody say thank you, Terrane.
Peace out, y'all. Great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well,
Adios.
appreciate you. Y'all go check out his website, Oudh of Gira. Y'all go follow him on Instagram. And his number is in the description bar as well if y'all want to text him about any type of reading, working, spell work, etc. He's very, very knowledgeable, and I've known him for many, 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 many years. He's a gentleman, so you don't have to worry about anything on that, of that nature, of anything. So y'all check him out and let me know what you think about this video in the comments, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.